Hi, this is Jack from Alpha Charts 365 with 20 setups for the upcoming week. So today is December 15th, 2019. And before we get started, just a reminder, this is not a recommendation to buy, sell, or hold any stock or security. This is for informational purposes only. So if you saw my State of the Market video yesterday, you saw that confirmed we are in an uptrend. Nothing bearish about the S&P 500 or U.S. stocks at all. So now let's look for opportunities. The first one is going to be Visa. Nice uptrend, moved sideways since the end of July, and now is breaking out again. I think Visa plays a very good risk-reward scenario right here. As long as it stays above, 184-ish or so. I probably would put my stop down here, maybe around the 65-day EMA, just to give it some room. But nice little uptrend is starting. MasterCard, looking a lot like Visa. Again, nice uptrend, and then kind of moved sideways, and is now breaking out. So MasterCard and Visa both look great. Wells Fargo Bank. So Wells Fargo Bank broke its downtrend line, started this new uptrend here, and now is consolidating its gains in this little range. I think if Wells Fargo can get above 54.50-ish, I think it could continue higher. The trend is higher, and maybe play a little catch up with the other banks that have already broken out and moved much, much higher, like JP Morgan and Bank of America. Citi is similar to Wells Fargo in that it's kind of late to the party, but getting above this $76-ish area looks pretty good. Pattern, inverse head and shoulders looking type pattern, base pattern, looks also very favorable. I think Citi shows for a pretty good risk reward. Truist Financial. Truist Financial is a new one on my radar, and I do like the way that this tested an area over and over and over again, and tested it here, and then tested it here. It tried to break out. Maybe it needs to pull back just a little bit more, but I think if we can get anything over 56-ish, I think is a potential long on this one. Again, it may need to chop around and move sideways just to let these moving averages catch up a little bit more, but I really do like the way this one looks. Goldman Sachs, another big bank that may be playing some catch up going forward. If you notice from the low here, here's the low, higher low, higher low, higher low. I like how this is trying to break out with all the moving averages moving higher. Pretty nice looking chart for Goldman Sachs. Moving on to some healthcare names. So this is Novo Nordisk, and this area right here has acted as resistance multiple times throughout here, right over here, and now once again here. I like this one a lot if you can make it above this 58, 60, 58, 75 area right here. I think Novo Nordisk above this area creates a very favorable risk-reward scenario for us. Next up will be HCA Healthcare. HCA Healthcare IPO'd back in 2011 and has had a nice uptrend since. And once again, we are consolidating, just like in this area. Moved up, consolidation, and looks like it wants to break out here. 145, 146-ish. I think above 146-ish. I think HCA Healthcare looks pretty good. Universal Health Services, UHS, is trying to break out above this area. Actually did once, twice, and then kind of broke back down. So it's one that I'm watching. I don't know if I'd jump right into this one right now until it kind of proves itself a little bit more. But if we could get back above 149-ish, I think Universal Health Services may be a nice long. Next up is CDLX. CDLX, Cardiolytics. Amazing run. from 2019, almost straight up to the high of around 60, 65, 75 or so. And then has now kind of moved sideways. I like how the buyers are defending this 54-ish level right here. I think that's a pretty good level to set your stops. The amount of accumulation that has been going on in this name for a very long time is impressive. And I think that that bodes well for this particular name. And I think it's getting to the point where it is a nice risk reward here. Again, as long as it stays above this $53, $54 area, I think that's where it's at. Looking at some semiconductors who have been outperforming and moving amazingly well, but there are still a few that are setting up for maybe their next run. Lattice Semiconductors is one of them. Since really at the end of July, beginning of August, has just moved sideways, has digested its nice big run up, and it looks like if it could get above this 2075, I think Lattice Semiconductors is a really nice long right there. Applied Materials, AMAT. Testing this area once, twice, 3 times, now for the 4th time. I think if Applied Materials can get above $62 or so, I think it looks really good. I like how all the moving averages are just in a strong uptrend. Applied Materials, not bad. ADI, Analog Devices Incorporated, again, looking for just a well-defined support resistance area. This has it, trying to break out once again. Maybe needs to move sideways a little bit more, but I like how ADI just kind of consolidated its gains all the way from April, basically. All the way moved sideways. I think this one can move a lot higher. Cadence Designs. This one is a little choppy, broke out, came back, retested this 150-day EMA, and maybe even this came all the way down to the 62 level, and now it's starting to move higher again. So if it can get above 70, 75-ish, I think Cadence Design Systems looks pretty good. Now, in my State of the Market video from yesterday, you saw that I made mention of the S&P versus the entire world minus the S&P. And one of the things I noticed was how we made a lower high in this ratio. That caught my eye. And I also noticed how the moving averages are starting to curl down. And so that kind of made me thinking, well, where in the world can we see maybe some potential outperformance going forward? Again, I don't know if it'd be tomorrow, but it's definitely something to keep your eye on. And China was one of the places, so I looked at a whole bunch of Chinese names, and Alibaba, being one of the biggest out there, looked amazing. Again, if it could get above this 210-ish area, I think Alibaba would be a nice long. It's kind of run a pretty good distance so far. May need to just kind of come back, retest maybe 195-ish, let these moving averages catch up, chop around, and then move higher. But I think Alibaba should be on all of our radars. On Tencent, again, another large cap Chinese stock, broke its downtrend line, and moving averages are starting to curl higher. I think Tencent is another one that should be in all of our radars. If China is going to start to move higher, these two will probably be the leaders. Japan looked pretty good, and one of the places I noticed in Japan was Takeda Pharmaceuticals. I always look for well-defined support resistance areas, and here I see extremely well-defined. It ran up here and consolidated very orderly, just nice consolidation. Didn't give much back. I see a lot of nice accumulation volume showing up down here. I think Takeda Pharmaceuticals looks really, really good. Going to Europe. So Europe is starting to show some life also. If our financials are looking good and the global feds are all supporting our financial markets, They're obviously supporting European financial markets. And so here are three nice looking setups for some European financials. First one is Credit Suisse. Credit Suisse is broken that downtrend line and keeps hitting this 1330-ish level. All the moving averages have moved higher. I like how this nice bottoming action here. And I think as long as it gets above, 1335, maybe even all the way up to 1350-ish, I think Credit Suisse could be a place where we outperform. UBS Group. The UBS Group, again, nice rounding bottom, very similar to Credit Suisse. Broke its downtrend line. I could draw that in here pretty easily, just like this, right? Something like that. Broke its downtrend line. And this one looks like it wants to move higher. Again, all the moving averages are starting to move higher and cross each other and get aligned up correctly for a bullish run. And the last one I'm going to show you today is going to be ING Group. So ING Group, again, having that bottoming look to it, getting above a significant area, and all the moving averages starting to cross and align correctly for a trend higher. So I think keeping an eye on who is outperforming, not only in the U.S., but also abroad, will help us hopefully outperform the market, and hopefully you guys got some good setups out of this, and good luck trading this week.